How Tina Turner broke the silence on domestic violence. It took courage for Tina Turner to expose herself to the public when she first spoke out about the abuse she suffered while married to Ike Turner. She revealed the sad reality behind the wildly popular musical combo in an interview with People magazine in 1981. "I was insanely afraid of that man," she said. According to Tina's frank account of their union, she was beaten with a shoe stretcher when she was pregnant and forced to witness a live sex show in a brothel on their wedding night. She also described how Ike beat her with a coat hanger and threw hot coffee at her. She made an attempt on her own life in 1968. "I was afraid to put it out because of what I would get from Ike," she told journalist Carl Arrington. Ike Turner, who died in 2007, always denied his ex-wife's claims that he abused her and expressed frustration that he had been demonized in the media. When Tina was just 17 years old, she begged him to hear her sing after seeing his band Kings of Rhythm perform. Unsurprisingly, he saw her star potential and made her his lead singer. He also gave her a stage name and lavished her with jewelry and clothing. They got married in 1962, and Tina vowed Ike she wouldn't leave him, a commitment she later came to regret. Tina had already felt the sorrow of her mother's rejection as a youngster. She confessed to Arrington, "I felt compelled to stay there and I was terrified. After he beat me up, I decided not to hurt him because, all of a sudden, while I was sitting there battered and torn, I began to feel terrible for him. Maybe I was brainwashed." However, by 1978, following a succession of successes, including River Deep and Mountain High, Tina believed she was ready to break away from Ike. She was no longer able to tolerate his torture and the effects it was having on their 4 sons. "I was leading a deathly existence. I never existed," she claimed. "But I made it through. I also took a walk when I left, and I didn't turn around." Tina moved away and had to rebuild her career, making money by singing in Las Vegas and appearing on various TV shows. She decided to tell all in the 1981 interview, to expel some of the ghosts from her past. In Daniel Lindsay and T.J. Martin's 2021 documentary Tina, the singer said she was so nervous about doing the interview that she asked her psychic if it would ruin her career. She said, "No, Tina," the singer recalled. "It's going to do just the opposite. It's going to break everything wide open." Dr. Lenore E. Walker, director of the U.S.-based Domestic Violence Institute, which provides support for victims of domestic abuse, thinks Tina's decision to speak out was hugely important. "In 1981 we were just learning about the extent of domestic violence in homes," she tells the BBC. "It was often thought to be only poor women without resources who were abused. When Tina Turner spoke out about her life, it brought awareness to the fact that domestic violence was everywhere." She says Tina helped give credence to other women daring to speak out about abuse. Women were not believed when they spoke out about domestic violence, so when Tina Turner, a well-respected and famous singer, spoke out, it gave other women the courage to do so. Also, she explains, "We needed influencers such as Tina Turner to speak out about domestic violence, so that my work on battered woman syndrome was introduced in the courts, and juries began to believe women acted to protect themselves and their children." Oprah Winfrey, a broadcaster and sexual assault survivor, also discusses the importance of women stepping out in the 1980s in the documentary. "Nobody discussed any form of abuse, including domestic violence, sexual assault, and physical assault. The first to begin breaking the quiet was our generation." The bombshell comments Tina made, however, would follow her about as her career soared once more with hits like Let's Stay Together, What's Love Got to Do With It, and Private Dancer. "To get the journalists off my back," she co-wrote Tina, her autobiography, in 1986 with Kurt Loder. She thought if they had all the answers from her book, they would stop asking her endless questions, taking her back to such an unhappy period in her life. But it didn't work. When Tina, the Tina Turner musical, collaborated with Women's Aid for its 5th anniversary in April, in advance of Women's Aid's 50th anniversary, the singer's life story came full circle. "It is wonderful to have the story of such a powerful and influential woman supporting our mission," said Farah Nazir, chief executive of Women's Aid. "Tina is an inspiration. Her story demonstrates the tenacity of survivors and that there is hope for women who are currently experiencing abuse. There is both freedom and happiness after abuse," one person said of her. The BBC Action Line can provide guidance and support for any problems brought up in this story.